Yesterday I opened Twitter X for like 5 minutes just for scrolling. Then one post about a phone leak popped up. Then another leak came, then another. And suddenly I'm sitting there properly invested, going through specs like I'm about to buy all of them. And honestly, the kind of phones that are coming next, it's mad. 200 megapixel cameras, 7000 to 9000 mAh batteries become normal, and some designs that look crazy. So if you are planning to upgrade anytime soon, just wait, because these are the top 10 upcoming smartphones that are about to change the game. But before I jump into it, if you're new here, I'm Siddharth Malhotra and you're watching Digit, where we bring you detailed, no-nonsense gadget reviews and comparisons. First up, the Vivo X300 Ultra, and this is where things get serious. This one is going all out on cameras. A 200 megapixel Sony Litia 901 main sensor with an f1.85 aperture and a 35mm focal length, which is already crazy. Then you get a 50 megapixel ultra wide, a 200 megapixel periscope lens, and even a multispectral sensor for better color accuracy. There's also a new teleconverter kit with 200mm G2 and 400mm G2 Ultra lenses, which is just next level stuff for a smartphone. On the front, you'll get a 50 megapixel selfie camera. Performance-wise, it's expected to come with Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 and a 6600 mAh battery. This is basically a camera monster. Next, the Oppo Find X9 Ultra, another absolute beast. It's expected to feature a 6.82-inch 2K LTPO OLED display and the same Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chipset. But the real highlight again is the camera setup. A 200 megapixel main sensor with a wider f1.5 aperture, a 50 megapixel ultra wide, a 200 megapixel 3x telephoto, and a 50 megapixel 10x periscope zoom lens, plus a multispectral sensor for accurate colors. And on the front, you'll get a 50 megapixel selfie camera. By the way, Oppo Find X9 Ultra has a 10x penta-prism periscope. If you compare it with the iPhone 17 Pro Max, it comes with 4x tetra prism. That's peak engineering. Battery, a massive 7050 mAh with 100 watt wired and 50 watt wireless charging. This one feels like a complete flagship monster. Now let's talk about the iQOO Z11, which has already been launched in China, and honestly, the specs are wild. MediaTek Dimensity 8500 chipset, up to 16GB of RAM, Android 16, and a 6.83-inch 1.5K AMOLED display with a 165Hz refresh rate and with 5000 nits of peak brightness. But the real shocker is the 9020 mAh battery with 90 watt charging. That's almost tablet level battery in a phone. Cameras are simple though, 50 megapixel main with OIS and a 16 megapixel front. Still, this is all about performance and battery. Next, the Redmi K90 Max. From the leaks, this phone looks super clean, but here's the interesting part. It comes with a built-in cooling fan that already tells you it's focused on gaming. You get a 6.78-inch AMOLED display with 165Hz refresh rate, a Dimensity 9500 chipset, and an 8000 mAh battery with 100 watt charging. Plus, you get a IP66, 68, and 69 ratings. This is basically gaming beast in disguise. Now, the Vivo X300 FE, a more compact and lightweight option at just 190 grams, but still very powerful. Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 chipset, up to 12GB of RAM, a 6.3-inch 1.5K AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate, and a 6500 mAh battery with 90 watt charging. Camera setup includes a 50 megapixel main, 50 megapixel 3x telephoto, and an ultra-wide sensor. This feels like a balanced, compact flagship phone. Now, on the other hand, the Oppo F33 Pro is also coming into the picture, and this one looks quite interesting. It's confirmed to feature a 6.57-inch display with a 120Hz refresh rate, which should feel smooth for everyday use. Performance-wise, it's expected to be powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 8300 processor, paired with a massive 7000 mAh battery and 90 watt fast charging. For cameras, you get a 50 megapixel primary sensor along with a 2 megapixel depth sensor on the back, and on the front, there's a 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera with a 100-degree field of view. Then there's the Vivo T5 Pro. This one is interesting because on paper, the chipset is slightly confusing. It comes with a Snapdragon 7S Gen 4, which is technically a downgrade from the previous generation. But surprisingly, you'll still be able to play BGMI at 120 FPS. You also get a massive 9020 mAh battery, 144Hz display, and an IP69 rating. So clearly, Vivo is focusing more on endurance and gaming here. Moving on the iQOO Neo 11 series. The Neo 11 already launched with the Snapdragon 8 Elite and a 7500 mAh battery. But now leaks suggest the Neo1 Pro could push things even further with a 2K display and possibly an 8000 mAh battery. If that happens, this could be one of the most powerful performance phones out there. Now the Infinix GT50 Pro, and I'm not gonna lie, this phone looks straight out of the future. LED lights on the back, aggressive design, and even gaming shoulder triggers. It's clearly built for gamers. You get a 6.78-inch 144Hz OLED display, Dimensity 8400 processor, and a 6500 mAh battery. Cameras are decent, but this is all about gaming and style. And finally, the Infinix Note 60 Pro. This one is funny because it looks almost identical to an iPhone 17 Pro. Like seriously, from the camera layout to the design, it's very similar. But the specs are solid. A 1.5K AMOLED display with 144Hz refresh rate, Snapdragon 7S Gen 4 chipset, and a 6500 mAh battery with 90-watt charging. The highlight though is the LED matrix at the back with 288 LEDs, which gives it a very unique look. So yeah, those were the top 10 upcoming smartphones, and honestly, it feels like we are entering a phase where every brand is just going all in. Bigger batteries, crazier cameras, and way more experimental design. Now I'm curious, which one are you actually waiting for? Because for me, that Oppo Find X9 Ultra is looking very tempting. Now you tell me in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.